Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. The price of Bitcoin is all the way up at $34,270. We've broken that $32,000 level of resistance, which is incredibly strong, and I really need to talk about this today. We need to be analyzing the price of Bitcoin and seeing what's next here. But first, let's take a look at some of the altcoins as well this morning. Thank you very much for all tuning in as always. Good morning, Chris, in the chat. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Let's see what's going on here. Bitcoin is at $34,270. We've got some bigger gainers of the day. We've got Wave up 17%, Rune up almost 13%. We've got MINA up 72% there as well. So big changes there. Huge fluctuations in the markets within the last 24 hours. It is incredibly nice to see. We've been doing these live streams throughout the period of the bear market every single weekday, and it has been pretty doom and gloom at times. Bitcoin went all the way down to $16,000 and we were still here talking about what's going on in the markets. So it's really nice to see this move to the upside and see that everybody that's been in the space throughout this bearish period is starting to see some rewards from their investment. So let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin here quickly. It's a straight move to the upside here. Very nice looking chart. If we take a look at what's happened here, we have broken through that $32,000 level. Is the chart going to load here? That would be useful. Let's see if we can get that to load. Let's remove all of this. Here we go. We should have action now. What we can see here on the daily chart is we have broken through that $32,000 level, and we are again at another crucial point. Bitcoin does this. It sits within a price range, and we say we've got a crucial point at X, Y, and Z, and then it just bashes through them all at once. It does this every single time we see some excitement in the market. It's brilliant to see this is back. We saw some excitement at the start of 2023, and then we just saw a huge amount of sideways action and a little bit of bearish momentum there. So it's really nice to see this move to the upside. As I keep saying, we were calling this down at $25,000 just a matter of weeks ago. So it's really nice to see that prediction play out exactly as expected. Let's take a look at the levels of support of the previous bull market, because that is what's going to act as a level of resistance at this point in time. And then we'll talk about the triggers as to why now is the point in which we are starting to see this breakout. Chris says, where have you been? I enjoy daily your updates. I do these updates every single day. We've not missed a day in a year. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss these updates. YouTube should be sending you a notification. If they're not, make sure to go over to Twitter and turn on your tweet notifications there as well, because we do put a tweet out every single day before we go live. Let's take a look at some levels of support from the previous bull market to see what could be acting as a level of resistance right now. So first of all, we had that one at $28,800. We've got some higher ones here as well. In fact, let's zoom in a lot closer here, because I think it's really important to identify where the bodies of these candles are. So we're looking at this point here acting as a very strong level of support during this period of time, then a resistance at this period of time, used as a support once again. That's the $34,600 level. Now, we have not yet broken through that at the current price point, but with the momentum in the markets right now, anything is possible. What we can see here is we are seeing a really nice move to the upside. If we take a level of a trend line here, in fact, this is going to be an important point, and we take this across here, this could indicate to us here that we are actually going to face another level of resistance at around $27,000. So that's something to be aware of as well. Let's zoom in again to this point here. I think another crucial level, another crucial horizontal level here is from these points back here. Now, this is from between the January 2022 and May 2022. Now, we used the $37,460 level as a level of support in that period of time. So again, we can expect that to act as a level of resistance. But again, we can all be aware that when Bitcoin is on a move like this, it can become unstoppable, and we can really continue to see some strong bullish momentum if the hype and the optimism around the spot Bitcoin ETFs continue. So let's take a look at this. We've currently got 10 viewers on today's stream with only 6 likes. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. We will come back and do full analysis of Bitcoin at the end of today's stream, so make sure to stay tuned until the very end. We will identify all of the major points on the chart right now and discuss what we could be expecting throughout the rest of the week, and we'll take a look at those spot Bitcoin ETFs as well. So make sure to stay tuned here. Now, there is a major story and a major reason as to why Bitcoin is pumping right now, and that is because BlackRock have given their spot Bitcoin ETF a ticker. Now, iShares is a company owned by BlackRock, and they have labeled their spot Bitcoin ETF as IBTC. So we can see here that they have listed this on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. Now, a senior ETF analyst at Bloomberg has stated the iShares Bitcoin Trust has been listed on the DTCC, which clears NASDAQ trades, and the ticker will be IBTC. Again, all parts of the process of bringing the ETF to market. So we can see here BlackRock are obviously being very positive about their spot Bitcoin ETF application, and we could be seeing in the near future a spot Bitcoin ETF go live, and that could massively change the space of cryptocurrency. If we see a spot Bitcoin ETF go live, I'm sure all of you know this by now, but it means that literally anybody can get exposure to the cryptocurrency space just as they can get exposure to any other kind of stock. It means that you can say, hey, actually, I want to put 1% of my pension towards Bitcoin, or actually, I want to put 1% of my investment towards Bitcoin, and it's that simple. Your financial advisor can do that like they do any other stock. There's really so many benefits to this. It can open up a huge door, and we could see a huge amount of adoption. Last Monday, we saw Cointelegraph falsely report that the spot Bitcoin ETFs have been accepted, and off the back of that, Bitcoin shot up massively. Now, the reason we're seeing all of this excitement in the market now, I believe, is to do with that fake news last week. A lot of people saw that fake news last week and thought, I want to get involved in this before the real news comes out, because if that's what the move is off a fake news article, imagine what happens when the real news comes out. If a spot Bitcoin ETF is accepted, we could see a real jump to the upside. Now, a lot of people have decided, oh, I want to be in before that. I want to front run that opportunity. So a lot of people are now buying because they've seen the excitement, and now FOMO is kicking in. A lot of people just trying to front run that spot Bitcoin ETF application as much as possible. We've been here on the channel talking about how important this is and how much it can impact the price of Bitcoin since the very beginning of these applications. But now people are starting to see that maybe this is in the nearer future than people expected. People were thinking maybe March. Now, the final deadline for the majority of the spot Bitcoin ETF applications is the 15th and 16th of March, but we have a sooner deadline that the SEC need to make a decision on and report to us all on the 15th, 16th of January. On that date or before that date, the SEC need to determine whether they are going to accept, deny, or delay the response to those applications. So a lot of people are now expecting that we will actually see a spot Bitcoin ETF by January. Obviously, if not, we have that final deadline in March where the SEC need to either accept or reject and give a reason why. Now, the reason as to why we are all so positive on the outcome of this and expecting an acceptance of these spot Bitcoin ETFs is because the SEC rejected Grayscale's spot Bitcoin ETF a couple of years ago, and then Grayscale entered a lawsuit with the SEC saying, you should not have rejected our application, and the SEC lost that lawsuit. So that was a big win there. They did not appeal the lawsuit. We've had win after win when it comes to fighting back against the SEC. The SEC are the regulators in the US. They're meant to be protecting investors with their funds, but instead they missed all of the signs with FTX, even though they were very friendly with SBF, and now they're trying to show that they are interacting with the cryptocurrency space and making sure it's all legitimate, but really I believe they are targeting the wrong people here. A spot Bitcoin ETF, I believe, is a product that should be live since we have spot Bitcoin futures ETFs and they have the same underlying assets. That was the argument that Grayscale had in the lawsuit, and Grayscale did win that lawsuit, so the courts agreed with them and us. So we've seen massive wins for the cryptocurrency space in the last couple of months, despite the regulators in the US really trying to crack down on the cryptocurrency space and prove that they have got their eyes on the ball, but it's just not been a successful year for them so far. Let's take a look at this article then and go into a little bit more detail. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday. We have since the 7th of December 2022, and we will not miss a day until Bitcoin is up at $100,000. Let's take a look at what is going on here. So the iShares ETF has been labeled as IBTC, so that's its ticker now in the markets. The excitement around this has caused a wave of movement to the upside, a wave of investors trying to get into the space, trying to front run the real news as to if a spot Bitcoin ETF application does get accepted. We can all see what could happen there. It could be crazy. Now, when that does happen, I'll be jumping straight on a live stream so we can watch the price of Bitcoin move. It will be a very, very fun day. I'm expecting something similar to when Bitcoin broke $20,000 back in 2020. That's what I'm expecting, and I cannot wait for the day that we do see that. In this bear market, it's been so painful. It's been so long-winded, and we've seen problem after problem in the cryptocurrency space. But as we've said throughout this year, yes, the start of this year was exciting. Sideways action was necessary for a period of time, but now we're approaching that Bitcoin halving. It's November, next week? And then the Bitcoin halving is in April next year. Now, with the spot Bitcoin ETF deadline for the SEC in January and March, that places it in a pretty nice position for that spot Bitcoin, for that Bitcoin halving. When the Bitcoin halving comes, we all know by now, historically, it's triggered a bull market. So there are big changes now coming to the cryptocurrency space. It is so brilliant to see these changes in the price because we all are well deserving of this at this point in time. We've been here for long enough in these painful periods, so it's nice to see some nice price action here. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Let's take a look at what's happened to all those short positions. People are shorting Bitcoin at this point in time. I just don't get it. Shorting Bitcoin is not something that I can ever get used to. If I enter a short position, I'm usually out of that position within about an hour because I feel so uncomfortable shorting an asset which I'm so bullish on in the long term. We can see here $178.5 million worth of Bitcoin has been liquidated in those short positions. So we can see here Bitcoin's overnight pump has caused the liquidation of over $223 million in leveraged Bitcoin positions and almost $400 million in leveraged positions across the cryptocurrency market. So all of those people that was shorting, thinking that spike was too high and we were going to rally back down again, have been liquidated there, or a huge percentage of them have. Serves them right for shorting. That's what I say. Let's see what else is here. So it's October right now. October historically is a bullish month for Bitcoin, and this month it's been no different so far, unless we see a retracement. What's the percentage change that we've seen this month? In fact, let's take a look at this. What was the 1st of October's price for Bitcoin? If we take a look here, let's get the measuring tool out. So we're looking 1st of October, we were trading at around, let's get this right, let's zoom right in. 1st of October, we were trading at $26,959. We've now seen a high up at $35,300, up 30% within 1 month. Well, within 24 days. These are gains you do not see anywhere else. And this is what we are rolling cryptocurrency for. And it's very nice to see these changes today. What we can see here is October in action, optimism with a retest of $31,000. We will talk about the levels of support and resistance in a second after we've run through the rest of these articles, but things are looking good. I don't know, for months and months and months, since we first retested $32,000 back at this point here in July this year, we've all been stating when we break through $32,000, the game changes. And now we have broken that level. The game is changing. We are no longer, we're going to see a lot less people shouting for new lows in the markets. I am very, very happy to see this change here because yes, we may have some more downwards momentum. I'm not going to say that we're not going to. We can't just go up in a straight line. But for this whole period of time, $18,000 to $16,000 was our bearish prediction for this bear market. And then since that point in time, we've been pretty optimistic here that we're not going to see new lows. Now we are obviously at $34,000 every time we move to the upside. I think we are moving. It becomes less and less likely that we are going to see new lows. I mean, we need a pretty solid reason as to why the price of Bitcoin is going to dump over 54% at this point in time, with the spot Bitcoin ETF lurking and the Bitcoin halving around the corner. So it's looking more and more unlikely that we will see a new low for this bear market. And with that, it just makes me feel more comfortable and more confident in my portfolio and in my decisions. Obviously, there is still the chance that we get the rejection of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, but the general consensus in the markets, there's a 90% probability that these ETFs will be accepted. So we're all getting ready for change here in the cryptocurrency space, and I honestly could not be happier with the changes that we've seen within the last couple of days. Let's take a look at these articles quickly, and then we'll analyze the price of Bitcoin. So first of all, we've got Multiverse X announces partnership with Google Cloud and Deutsche Telekom. So big changes there for Multiverse X. We've got DeFi protocols, Marinade, that was a difficult one there. Orca block UK users as FCA crypto rules take effect. So some centralized crypto platforms have exited the UK market due to the implementation of the new rules. What else have we got here? Bitcoin linked to defunct dark web marketplace and moved through Mixer. Obviously, we are going to see things like that. And then we've got US top global crypto activity despite regulatory headwinds. We're seeing the US regulators trying to clamp down on the cryptocurrency space, as we've mentioned a lot here on the channel. But you can see here the transaction size data suggests that pullback from institutional investors was the primary driver in the overall decline in activity, as retail users and sub-institutional pro traders estimated activity remained consistent. So just changes in the institutions there, not in the day-to-day users, the retail investors. Now let's get on to the price of Bitcoin. This is what we've been rushing through today's news for. Let's analyze the price of Bitcoin in detail and see what is going on here. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Today is a brilliant day for crypto. We have broken through that $32,000 level here. What levels of support should we be watching out for, and what levels of resistance should we keep an eye on as well? Now, first of all, as I said, I want to be zooming in to the previous levels of support in the previous bull market. So this is the 2021 bull market, and then we did see that dip back in May 2021, and I want to be using the levels that were used in that dip to see if they are going to act as levels of support and resistance right now, because these are really important levels. Now, obviously, we are currently trading at $34,430. A lot of people have woke up and had a very nice surprise when they've looked at their portfolio this morning. So I'm taking a look at, from these points here, I'm looking at the bodies of these candles here, creating a level of resistance at $34,600. We're also taking a look at this point here at $29,800. We have some others that we can keep an eye on as well. I think this one is an important one to note. So this is from back here. If we take this line here and see what else we've got, I would say it is important to find some levels within this phase here. So let's take a look here. One other thing that we could be taking a look at, obviously we have that level of resistance that's going up here. So this is from back in August 2022, in April 2023. This is at currently $27,000. That is a level that I would really like to be keeping an eye on, because if we do see a bounce of that and we get that confirmation bounce there, that has a huge price target. This is what we want to. This is what we've all been waiting for such a long period of time. I cannot express the excitement we've got today. Bitcoin has broken through that $32,000 level. If we draw a zone here of the critical level, let's get this right. If we get let's get the rectangle tool out. There we go. and we take a look at this, anywhere between that $29,000 level and this zone that we are in now, I think this is the most crucial zone, and we're already through this. So this is between the $29,000 and the $32,500. You will have heard so many people all over social media saying $32,000 is a really important level, and it is, and we are currently through that. So what I would like to see on the smaller time frames is a confirmation bounce of that zone. If we get a confirmation bounce of the $32,500 level, that's like this excitement just goes up a 10x. That completely changes it once again. Right now, we are in a spike. Now, I don't trust spikes just off the bat. What I like to see on a spike is some sort of chart pattern being formed at this point in time. If we start to see some sideways action, and nice sideways action that has that little bit of volatility to it, that is perfect. If we see some sort of like bar pattern forming, that's when you start to get a little bit concerned. But right now, we are on this upwards trajectory. What we would like to see is a confirmation bounce of previous levels of resistance, or we would like to see some continuous attempt at a new level of resistance. That is what we need to feel confident here that we are going to hold these levels and we're not going to see a strong reversal. Now, obviously, there are some news stories that could impact the price here. We could see the rejection of spot Bitcoin ETFs. I would like to make you all aware that is still a possibility, albeit a possibility that I don't think will ever come to fruition, but it is still a possibility. The second option is we get the acceptance, and in that case, we might not be able to see the price of Bitcoin because it will fall off the top of my screen. What else have we got here? We may see more delays. I don't think that's too much of a concern. I think right now the markets have realized how big of a big deal spot Bitcoin ETFs are and how much we should be able to. I mean, a lot of people are looking at this and saying, I want to front run that opportunity. And personally, I do too. I haven't been investing in this since that news came out because the acceptance of a spot Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock is a game changer. So that's what's really happening here. That's why there's so much excitement. The levels of resistance I'm looking at are $34,100, $37,500, and this one here at $36,800 as well. In terms of support, I would love to see a confirmation bounce at $32,500, but we will have to just wait and see how that plays out. We can also take a look at the price of Ethereum if you would like. So let's take a look at this. Actually, before we move on to Ethereum, let's go to the CME chart because that is very important. If we pull this up here, we are closing, in fact, we've closed that CME gap there. So we have a CME gap, and this is a gap that acts like a magnet for the Bitcoin price at $35,350. Now, in terms of the CME chart, that's being closed. That is very, very nice to see. That magnet's been closed. It's pulled the price of Bitcoin all the way up to $35,000 on this chart. Very, very nice to see there. We do still have a CME gap down at $20,370, but that is looking less and less likely to be filled, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the Ethereum chart here quickly and see what else is going on in the markets. We do know by now, in fact, if we go to ETH BTC first, Bitcoin has been massively outperforming Ethereum. It has broken through our level of support here on the charts. Now, what's happening here is Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. It's outperforming the majority of altcoins because of the excitement around the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And this is pretty common to see at the start of a bull market. Phase one of a bull market is Bitcoin performing and gaining that market dominance. If we take a look at BTC dominance here, you can see market dominance is up at almost 54%. That's its highest since back in April 2021. Now you can see here Bitcoin dominance always fluctuates massively, but typically at the start of a bull market, we see Bitcoin taking the lead and gaining that market dominance and outperforming the rest of the altcoins and even the major top cryptocurrencies. And then what we see is a shift into the high cap coins. So we're talking Ethereum, we're talking other tokens within the top 10. And then we'll see a shift again into mid cap coins. And then we'll see that shift even further into low cap coins. Now, I believe the reason we see that kind of shift and cycle between the market caps of the coins is because, first of all, we've got Bitcoin. During a bear market, people only really want to be holding Bitcoin. It's the least risky asset, in my opinion. And it's the token we all believe in for the long term. With altcoins, we never know really, truly, how much funds the project have got and how long they can continue running for a bearish period of time. So people like to hold Bitcoin in a bear market. Bitcoin then begins the bull market. For this cycle, we are seeing the excitement around spot Bitcoin ETFs. That's fueling Bitcoin to move to the upside. And then Bitcoin hits a point where people go, do you know what? We're not going to be able to see too much more of a return from this asset because we've really seen some big gains so far. And even if it goes from 50,000 to 100,000, that's only a 2x. And I could get more gains in the high cap coins. So people start to cycle into the high cap coins. We got then Ethereum. People are looking at Polkadot, Solana, all of those tokens. They see some nice rallies and then people say, do you know what? I've made a load of money here. I feel like I can take on more risk. I'm an experienced trader at this point in time. Let's go into the mid-cap coins. They shift over again. Their egos get bigger. Their FOMO gets bigger. Their greed gets bigger. And they go, yeah, go on. Let's go into the low-cap coins. Let's invest into those sub $1 million market cap low-cap coins. And that can be brilliant. You can gain a huge amount of you can get a huge amount of returns from low cap coins, but I do believe that the shift and the cycles during the bull markets are because of the ego boosts people see during the bull markets. I always try to keep a clear head, try and just take small risks with a small percentage of my portfolio, but we do see that cycle occurring. So when we see the markets moving this way, it's warming up the same way that a bull market typically warms up. And that's why there's so much excitement here from me in this live stream today. PG says, voice full of energy. And so what we are seeing here is we are seeing the changes that we typically see at the start of a bull market. So hopefully we see that continue. And it's just gearing us up more and more. If we see the same patterns, it's giving us a lot more confidence that we are going to continue to see these upwards movements and we are actually beginning that bull market cycle, which would be very, very nice at this point in time. But that is all we really have for today's stream. So thank you very much for tuning in. As always, thanks for all the support in the live chat today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. That's all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back here tomorrow, hopefully with more